I really hear drums differently than anybody else. I always think that they should have this clarity and have this impact that's just world dominating. I just hear them a certain way and I use whatever tools I can to get them there.
When you listen to Chris's mixes, what you notice is the excitement and the larger-than-life thing that he gets on them. Chris is one of the biggest mixers of all time. People in this industry have studied his unique sound and studied his style, but only Chris can do what he does.
When I had first gotten a job in a recording studio, one of the things about it was I wanted to be able to record my band, I wanted to be able to produce, I wanted to be a musician. The engineering took over as a gateway to becoming a producer. Because once you're an engineer, you have a chance at being involved in production as you move into that hot seat. And that's what happened as we went from the 70s into the 80s, the transformation from musician to engineer to, producer almost. I can be the guy that comes in and doesn't engineer the project, but comes in at the last minute and fixes it and mixes it. And that was the most exciting thing. I'd engineered many projects where I'd do rough, I'd do the mix, I'd engineer the thing, but coming in just to do the mix, that to me is what makes the job so good every day. I first met Steven 4 years ago at the AES show, and I saw his drums and I saw his samples, and I was very interested by what he had to offer. When the show was over that day, we ended up talking all night and drinking and having a great night.
We're just two dudes from Jersey, and we started talking about music and mixing and drums, and Chris has so much knowledge about his craft. It was a great experience. We had a lot of fun.
And he's been begging me to do something together, and I've been so excited about finally doing the Chris Lord Alge Signature Expansion Pack. We're here today to do that. It's really exciting. I was so happy because his passion and my passion are so similar about his drums, his programs, his software, his outboard gear. We're always talking to each other, texting each other, say, hey, you gotta try this out, hey, I gotta do this. And I'm so glad that finally we're doing something together as partners. It's really fantastic.
It's one thing to have Chris mix the drum samples, but when he insisted on recording them, we all got really excited. Everyone knows Chris as a mixing engineer, but what they sometimes forget is that for years he was a recording engineer, and a really good one at that. So having the ability to watch him record drums and having the ability to document the whole process and get inside his head was really amazing.
We are here at Ocean Studios in Burbank. This is a very classic room, one of the greatest recording rooms in all of California, with one of the greatest consoles, the 8048 customized. It's in a magnificent desk with 1081 modules in it. This studio has been here for many years and one of the biggest rooms there are and one of the greatest drum recording rooms in all of California. I haven't done drum track in a few years. I'm looking forward to it. I'm busting out of the mixing chair and getting some drum sounds here that you can all enjoy. Okay, well, welcome to the live room out here at Ocean Studios in Burbank. As you can see, this is an amazing size room with a bow truss ceiling. Definitely has some serious history to it. We're gonna look at some of the mic selections I have going here. I'm going with selections that have been tried and true for me for many, many years. I'm definitely going with the original FET 47, an RE20, and more modern, the Yamaha sub mic. So we're gonna try those on kick. Here we are with Steven right here by the drums. He has a special technique to tape the 57 and the 451 together. By having the two mics situation, it gives us a little bit more excitement, a little more power, a little more brightness, a little more crack. The original 421s are the best for toms, always for me. Make sure that we use those. And the great thing about working here at Ocean is they have a great vintage mic selection. Overheads is original C12s, original tube C12s. My second choice is a pair of original 87s. Big diaphragm mics for the overheads. You have to get this angle where they're over the center of the kit because the mics have to look a certain way because the mics are like eyeballs on you, not just capsules. So it's not just, I want to mic the cymbals. No, I want to mic the package. Now we have our overheads intact, and since we have the option of having another pair here, We can pull these guys in right here, and we can get more wood this way. So we set these guys up similar, but we're gonna capture more kick, snare, tom, not so much overheads, right? It's for hi-hat ride, always KM84s. Some people mic hi-hats like this way or that way. It's all about pointing directly at the snare drum, because that's where the phase problems start, when the mics are all aiming the wrong way. And another important thing is look at the selection we have for room mics. M49 Neumann's originals, and then 251s and 67s. So if I can't get a room sound with those three mics, well, we got a problem. Why don't you just play a little bit? And I'm just gonna walk. This is what I always do, what I used to do, which is actually listen to the drums before you put the room mics in a spot. Okay, obviously we are definitely in the right spot. As you get further back in the room, you get a bit of a buildup and a bounce, which may be too canyon force, where if we get too close, it's too bright. Like right around here, it's starting to get bright. I was really taught about room mics from a very famous engineer. His name is Ron Nevison. His drum recordings were some of the best drum recordings I ever heard. They weren't flashy, they weren't compressed, but his sense of where the actual mics were was impeccable. So I think our distance is pretty close there. We go back by him and look. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about those guys. Now, since we do have a few extra pairs of mics, I will go outside the perimeter with the 251s. I'll take them back into position. I'm going to follow my line of stereo. The capsule is like the eye of the microphone. It's got to be facing what it's trying to capture. It's like I'm looking at you, straight on. That's how the mic's got to be. Some people point to the floor, point to the sky. Well, there's nothing up in the sky that I care about. What I care about is what in front of me. All right, let me look at my line. God, this is so sexy, all these mics on me. Ah, okay, looks good. We just spent a good period of time going through mics, getting balances, going through the multi-micing of the kick drum, snare drum. But I've got some really good balances and have this thing spread out in many tracks now. So it's starting to feel like a balance of a drum kit. And I'm really excited that I've done some drum recording now. It's so much fun. So we're gonna have a bit more of EQing, of balancing here shortly. It's now 4 in the afternoon. We've tried every combination. We've had them play and play and play, and we have the drums right in the absolute sweet part. And we're about to do the most important part of the day, and that is, let's sample.
Jerry, you ready? See that snare, please? Hit that hard. You know, when you talk to people in the recording industry, Chris Lord Alge's name always comes up. And specifically in that conversation, people want to know how the hell does he get his drum sounds? Chris's drum sounds are legendary. How do I get that Chris Lord Alge drum sound? So the fact that I gave Chris a call, and not only is he doing a drum sample pack, but he's recording it all with his own techniques, is pretty damn awesome. And I think the pack sounds incredible. And it is so useful, it is so unique, and it is so Chris Lord Alge. And I think people are just gonna absolutely love it. In the past 8 years, I have come out with 100 drum kits. I think that I have sealed the deal on the Steven Slate drum sound. It's time to expand. So we're expanding by getting some of the industry's top guys, like Chris, to add to the Steven Slate drums line, and we've got a whole new set of engineers crafting drum samples. And they happen to be some of the most elite and sought after mixers and producers in the industry.